transmission of old-timey news, the only Victrola cast for news. Real news, really late. Nate Ramey has delirium tremens. Nate Ramey was in the rat and snake charming business Thursday evening at the police station for the 16th time, being the result of sobering up after a protracted alcoholic debauch. When Ramey starts in on a spree, he continues the business very industriously until his stomach absolutely refuses to accept any further punishment and he has to sober up. But sobering up is a very painful operation to a man in that condition, and he usually begins to see things. Thursday night, Ramey saw all the animals in Barnum Circus, and many others that Barnum never saw but would have paid a fortune for the privilege of exhibiting. The police had nursed Ramey through several cases of delirium treatments, and the last two cost the city about $20 from medical attendants, etc. Chief Step decided this time to send Ramey home and let him be cared for at the expense of himself and his relatives. Accordingly, he was hustled off to his home on North Jefferson Avenue, where he was probably having a menagerie of rats and snakes give a free performance. Building to be easier. The poor man need no longer live in a box for a home, said Thomas A. Edison recently to a representative of the New York Globe at his laboratory in Orange, New Jersey. He can own a palace. Before next summer, I will build a 3-story indestructible concrete house that a laboring man earning $1.50 a day can buy and run. It will be as artistic and comfortable as any Fifth Avenue mansion, and will be built in half a day. Come up and see it. Had anyone else made these statements, you would have said that he was a dreamer. For when Edison had led you through the balconies of his study, packed with charts, diagrams, and models of his successful inventions, you began to believe him. Then, when you had reached the top floor, throw open the door of a spacious room fitted with a quarter-sized model of the house, and pointed out the window to a huge concrete building in the distance, where he was making machinery to build not only one, but thousands of houses like it. You know that he meant business. And now, listeners of this Victrola cast, an advertisement. Food for everybody. Kingsford Oswego cornstarch amazes experts because of the amount of energy it produces at so slight a tax on the digestive system. Ideal for evening dessert, for it can't distress. Eat cornstarch often, but always eat the genuine Kingsford Oswego cornstarch. Pure, delicious, possessing every food excellence, the standard of quality for over half a century. Nourishing for everybody, old, young, weak, and strong. Kingsford Oswego cornstarch. Our error was made about Diddle arrest. The reported arrest of Frank Diddle, the horse thief at Ridge Farm, appears to have been a mistake, but it came about in a way that makes it altogether excusable. It appears that Mr. C.A. Test of this city was in the Bose livery barn at Ridge Farm when officers arrested a stranger employed at that establishment, saying that the man was Diddle. Mr. Test took it for granted that the prisoner was the right man, but such was evidently not the case, as Diddle is not yet in custody. The old-timey news informant in the matter, who got the story from Mr. Test, was of the impression that it was of a recent happening and hence the misunderstanding. This burglar's a generous chap. The Props grocery store on South Main Street was burglarized, the enterprising robbers securing about 30 one-cent coppers, but generously left 1 cent in the money drawer for seed. The burglar broke into Will F. Galmer's office next door and stole a half-inch chisel, and utilizing a ladder that stood nearby, he climbed in the second-story window in the rear of the building and pried up the window and thereby effected ingress into the upper room, from which it was easy to descend into the grocery below. The police are absolutely certain that they will know the burglar and will probably pick him up very shortly. It is this announcer's honor to read a letter from President Theodore Roosevelt. Schoolboys should learn how to shoot. Practice in rifle shooting is of value in developing not only muscles, but nerve, steadiness, and judgment under excitement. It is therefore of value to every man throughout his life. The United States is a very small standing army. In times of war must depend for defense upon hasty levies of volunteers, and it is a prime necessity that the volunteer should already know how to shoot if he is to be of value as a soldier. In no modern war would it be possible effectively to train men to shoot during the brief period of preparation before the army take field. Be the consequence, the training must come in advance, and the graduates from our schools and colleges should be thus trained so as to be good shots with a military rifle. When so trained, they constitute a great addition to our national strength and great assurance for the peace of the country. This ends the transmission of old-timey news. Real news, really late. Huzzah!